Hey everyone, welcome back. Guess what we're working on today? Yep, the Kubota BX1500. This has been an issue for a few months and I just kept topping it off, but time to fix it. So you can get under the front end here. Here we are looking up from underneath. You can see the oil drips right here. That's a pivot pin that goes through there for the front axle. Right there's the head of it behind the steering rack. I'm going to get that out of the way. Back there's the nut on the other side of that bracket. But there's seals and O-rings in there that are worn out. I can't figure out why. I don't abuse this tractor at all. It's starting to show its age. Or it's starting to show its abuse level anyway. But that's what we're going to be working on. Don't know if we'll get much video of that, but that's where I am today. Okay, first off, we got to get that rack off the front steering rack. So I got to disconnect the tie rod ends. And there's 4 bolts holding the rack to that front axle housing. The boots on those tie rod ends are right here. They rip within a couple of months. Guys at the shop just said let them go. Don't even have to put them back on. My hope here is I can pull the bolts out of this rack. It's been a while since I took this thing apart, so I can't recall exactly how it worked out, but hope here is to take the rack out and have it drop far enough or lift far enough out of the way that I could pull the pin out. Drop this whole unit down. There are hydraulic lines hooked to this, of course. Hoping to have enough slack. We'll see how it goes. Now we're cooking. That's one side. There we go. There we go. Now we got it. All right. Take you underneath the machine here. Again, if I can, while you're on the tripod. As you can see, got the tie rod end out. All right, swing that back. Now, the rack is in a bracket that bolts to the axle housing that I'm trying to get out. And the only way to get the axle housing out as well is to move this rack out of the way, because the bolt will comes out this side and hits the rack. So I don't know if you can see that under there. Sorry about the really bad camera work here, but I gotta get those two bolts off the bracket. I'll get a better shot when this rack is out of the way. So over here to the left, you got to take that cover off, pull the front drive shaft out. And this thing should be on its own and be able to get pulled out of there. There we go. Pull the cotter pin out here. Slide that pin out. Shaft slides out. Man, I got this leak under here, but also where my loader hooks up, as is typical, the fittings start leaking after a while. The quick connect fittings. And of course, I got the drips all down here to prove it, and all this oil and whatnot here. So, all right. So just a pin, washer, cotter pin. What I'll do is, well, let's slide that off. Put it right back in. Here we go. Keep everything together. Don't have to search around for it later on. Yeah, that makes it much easier. What we got out, or need to get out, is, you can't even see it, under all the grease. There it is. That's what the rack was in the way of. So I said, needed to get the rack out of the way. There's a nut on the other side, castle nut with the cotter pin. So we're gonna work on getting that out and dropping this thing down. That's it. Start the work from this side. You might do it. Ah, nice. Okay, not tight at all. Now, one of the problems is going to be getting the weight off this bolt so I can get it out of here. Let's leave that on there. Give it a tap. There we go. I'm going to have to give it some blocking. Or not. Utilize the tire that's here. This axle's heavy. Axle housing. There we go. I'll just lift up on the other side. That'll put down into the tire here. One more thing. Can't see what I'm doing here, but trying to get something under this side of the axle. Here we are. Trying to get something under this side of the axle so when I pick up on that end, It'll take the weight off the bolt. Should just be able to slide it out. And then just set this down on the ground. So let's move you back a little bit. Well, let's see if this works. Probably end up dropping this thing. It's a little clumsy to work with. And it's out. All right, we got it set up over the oil drain pan, finally. And on some blocks to steady it. Now, we've got a seal, an O-ring, and a bushing. All those need to come out. There's 2 of each in there. All those need to come out and need to get replaced. New parts are in the house. All right. Here's this little plastic deal here. Goes in first. I don't see how this thing even seals with this in here, but it does apparently. Or, well, wears out pretty quick too. And that O-ring there, right behind that, one of the bushings. All kinds of grit in there too. That's not good. The grit is dirt that's falling in. Well, yeah, when I was wiping that off. Okay. This mating surface is all torn up here. I don't know if that was cast like that or if something got in there and tore it up. It's not the seal surface. I could just pull those other ones out from the bottom. I'm gonna have to flip this over again eventually anyway. Where'd you go? There you are. Kudos on a bad design if you ask me, Kubota. The bushings and the seals, O-ring and whatever that little plastic thing is, are not very expensive. The bolt that goes through there, 40 bucks. All right. Gonna get this thing to focus down in there. See that shoulder down in there? That's where the bushing drives against that shoulder. Problem with that is, it's hard to drive the bushing back out, if not impossible. So you have to go in and grind away at the bushing with a Dremel to split it. So you can fold it up and then it gets loose and you pull it out. Kind of looks like that when you're done. Slowly grind away and pry it away from the side, then it gets loose. Fun. But what I think, what I discovered after I pulled it out, it's split. Which means all you got to do is find that split and pry up next to that. If you don't damage the surface that this bushing fits on. Pry against that. Get it away from the wall of the mating surface and go ahead and pull it out with a needle nose or something. So when we flip this over, start working on the other side, see what we come up with. Hopefully it goes a little easier than this side and I won't have to use the Dremel. Okay, got it turned over. Of course, you got some more oil dripping out. So you got the paper towels under it. Could not flip it over and keep the drain pan under it because of the input shaft for the front end four-wheel drive. But we got it blocked. I can see where the split is in the bushing. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can drive a screwdriver or something in there to get that bent out of the way, and then just be able to pull this whole thing out without grinding on it. Sometimes you just have to sacrifice a screwdriver to get the job done. Took all of about 30 seconds. No grinding. No damage to the mating surface. A little bit unstable here as to whether this thing wants to sit up or not. But all right. New parts right from Kubota. There you go. All right, sorry about that. You guys missed putting the O-ring in, but just an O-ring. I greased it. Greased the O-ring, put it in its groove in there. But we'll put that in. The only thing I can suggest, if you happen to do this, which I don't know if any of you will, is the split in the bushing and the split in that white thing I just put in there. Put the split up. That way, if oil could track along that split and find its way out a lot. Hey, in 5-6 years, if I have to revisit this front end, if I still have this machine, I'm gonna go back and reference this video. It goes this way, and that 16mm socket, at least the impact one that I have here, worked perfect. Drove that straight down in. Stay at the top. Okay, split is at the top. You want to make sure you get these in nice and square. Obviously, you don't drive them in crooked. That's what the socket helps to do. They have bearing driver sets and things like that. But I'm not a mechanic. There we go. You can feel that sound. See how the sound changed? I don't know if you can hear it on there or not, but became a very solid hit. That means it bottomed out on that shoulder. I mean, I don't see any catastrophic failure in any of this stuff. Which bothers me. Kubota is usually really good with stuff like this, with design and everything. I mean, their stuff is solid as a rock. But you've seen me use this tractor. You know I'm not easy on it at all, so when something fails, I should not be surprised. Although Kubota stuff is usually a hell of a lot stronger than this. And fill that groove up with grease. Put the O-ring in. That goes all the way down. And this little plastic deal, again, it's split here. Turn the light off, I don't need that. It's split here. I'm going to put that split towards the top. Less chance oil will find its way out through that. I'm not even sure what this is. A little Teflon something, I guess. I don't know. Biggest thing is don't force it through once you get it started. Reason being, you hit those O-rings with that bolt and you shear them off. In. Thank you. Looks good. No O-ring chunks on there. It would be stuck on there because of the grease. So once it's in the first bushing, it'll guide it between the O-rings. So you won't have to worry about turning up an O-ring. Just got to get it past that first one. There's no torque spec on this castle nut for the back of this, because if you torque it too hard, the front axle does not pivot. I think we're good right there. Rack's back in, tie rods are done, drive shaft is reconnected, wheels and tires. But time to refill the differential. Went ahead, finished topping off the fluid in the front diff. Cleaned up a lot of my tools. And got the wheel bolts all greased and ready to go back in. Just going to mount the front wheels. Get this thing back on the ground. I'm going to call that complete. One of the other jobs here, besides running the sawmill, you got to maintain equipment, got to repair equipment, just like you got to repair your sawmill. Hey, you got enough money, what the heck, take it to the shop, let somebody else do it. Me, I'm not that lucky. And I don't know. I like fixing my own stuff. Take it down to the car wash, get it cleaned up, and go ahead and put the loader back on it. Hey, thanks again. I know it's not a mill video, but some of this other stuff we have to do here at Iron Oak Sawmill. Give you a little taste of what it's like when you got to run your own shop. All right, I'm going to wrap this one up. Thanks again, everybody. Remember, like, share, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell next to the subscribe. That'll let you know when we put out a new video so you don't miss anything. And I promise we'll be getting some milling videos again soon. But for now, it's repair time. All right? Thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you out here next time.